We're just days away from the UK Games Expo. Which 10 games are we most looking forward to playing when we're there? Hi, I'm Julian and this is Libby, and we are very excited because we're heading towards the UK Games Expo 2023.
We are indeed, and for us here in the UK it's the biggest games con that we have here to go to, so there's lots of games that we're really excited to seeing in the flesh, in person, ones that are either just released or we're going to be able to see demos and play for the first time. So let's get into it and see which ones that we've picked.
Now, as a teenager, I played a lot of miniatures games, predominantly from Games Workshop, but I've dabbled in a few other ones, which is why I got very excited when I saw Star Wars Shatterpoint announced a little bit of time ago.
So you must know how much we love Star Wars as the whole IP. We've got quite a lot of Star Wars games, so I mean, do we want to add another one?
Well, this is exciting for me because it is a miniatures game, and I haven't played a kind of miniatures game for a very long time. Obviously not just miniatures on a board, they have a kind of physicality and that plays into the game. So, and you've never really played that kind of style of game?
Not, obviously, as you say, I've played lots of games that have got minis in them and components that you're moving around, hexes and doing different things with, but not necessarily in the kind of, oh, could that figure see that person on that edge of that hill over there? Not that kind of thing, if that's the sort of spatial awareness that you're talking about. No, I haven't really done that, so that could be interesting.
It could be a new thing for us.
Yeah, I am interested in the look of those actual figures, and I think the more and more that you've been painting, the more I'm thinking, oh, I could really quite fancy dabbling a little bit into that. So that would maybe be a bit of a joint project or something.
If you saw our video last year, I talked about how I was looking forward to painting a miniature for the first time. And
gosh, hasn't time changed?
Yeah, before that I said, it would be more of a trip down memory lane. And if you watched our on the show reports from that, I actually spent longer painting than I anticipated. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. And then fast forward a few months, I discovered speed paints and slap chop techniques. I discovered I could kind of paint a miniature probably better than I could do when I was younger in less time. So I started kind of frantically painting everything that we had. So to have a miniatures game that has beautiful looking minis in it, I'm kind of just excited to kind of get my hands on that. Now, I don't know a great deal about Shatterpoint. Obviously, we know Star Wars very, very well, particularly that kind of Clone Wars era. We're all across that at the moment.
Yes.
But from what I do anticipate from a miniatures game, it's going to be a small amount of miniatures, a lot of terrain, and potentially quite an expensive box. So I really want to see and get my hands on it and understand what that game is, and if it has a place on our shelves, really, because it's a big investment, and if we get some of our friends involved as well and they start getting their own kind of groups to compete against, it could be fantastic. However, if not, it's quite an expensive game that we could get several other games for and potentially play those more. So it's a kind of fact-finding mission, really. I'm keen to see what it is, what it involves, and really get my hands on those minis and go, oh, is this something I want to paint?
Yeah, but, initial vibes are like, ooh, exciting.
I was very excited. You might have seen on our social media how excited I was when they started announcing more about this.
So one of the games on my list to look out for is a new one from CGE, and CGE always seem to sort of land well for us. So whilst we're there, obviously looking at the new expansion for Luthier of Arnak, there's more leaders going on. I think it's going to kind of do that sort of thing that you could have done in the print and play solo mission thing. They've adapted that.
It was a free print and play that we dabbled in, but it's good to see that now proper co-op mode. Yeah,
it seems like they've sort of fine-tuned that, adapted it a little bit, and that's going to be in this expansion along with a couple more leaders. So obviously we're heading there to look at that. That's super exciting. But whilst we're there, I've seen, now I'm going to attempt to pronounce this. I haven't checked on how the pronunciation goes. Hora, City of Silver. The box looks fab. It's quite kind of crisp in its black and silver look with this coin sort of effect in the middle. So this is a Eurogame for 2 to 4 players. We all know I love a Eurogame. It's based in a city where this actually happened. They found the silver and it sort of drove that economic system of of mining the silver, how it's going to be used in the local economy and things like that. So it'd be interesting to see how that works out on the board itself, and a little bit of a history lesson as we go by the sounds of it. So it'd be really interesting. Yeah.
We don't really have kind of city builders on our shelves, so it'd be interesting to get one of those. And CG for us is a mark of quality, from like Lost Winds of Arnak and Starship Captains. Every time they're churning these kind of games out, it seems to kind of hit our level and be something we're particularly interested in. So
I
think it's going to be a good one. Now, is it right to be excited about a game based just on the publisher?
I mean, I just was.
Luthier is a game I know very little about, apart from it's from Paverson Games. Now, if you don't know, they made Distilled recently. It was their first published game, and boy, howdy, was that a good one. What a way to start. I've talked about it in Game of the Month and several times in videos, how much I've really enjoyed playing Distilled. And it's a fine quality production. Everything about that is great.
Yeah.
So their next one is called Luthier, and it's about instruments. That's largely all I know about it. I've seen a logo. And
good topic though. Like that's interesting. Something a little bit different. I mean, we've had Lacrimosa.
Lacrimosa seems to be an analogy that people are making, but they seem to have a version that's going to be playable there. So my knowledge of Luthier is going to go from 0 to hopefully I'm 100. Going to buy this as soon as it comes out. So I wish I could share more with you, but alas, I don't know much about it to share. But I'm very excited based on the publisher alone.
Yeah, and that's some of the exciting stuff about going to a con, isn't it? Like, you kind of know someone's going to bring something out. You know the name of it. You might know whether it's you might not know whether it's a Euro or is it an American style or is it this, is it that. And you just find everything out about it.
Some of the best discoveries, like last year we discovered First Rat, and I've loved that ever since. So sometimes it's the kind of unexpected discoveries you make, and you fall in love with something that you just didn't know about.
Yeah. Another of my choices is Pandora Celeste. Now, full disclosure, the designer of this game is one of our friends, and we have seen it sort of from previous iterations ago, but I know that whilst at UK Games Expo, our friend Mike, who designs it, is going to have a new print and play version, which I have never seen before, nor have you. We've played some previous sort of starting scenarios, but this is going to be like a print and play of like a first learning scenario, as far as I understand it. They'll just give a bit of a flavour of the game and how it might be to whether people want to Kickstarter it or not. And because we haven't seen it in such a long time, I'm really intrigued to see where the game's gone, how it's developing, because he really is going down the sort of get this ready for Kickstarter train now. So from sort of some rough ideas and some little cardboard pieces, this is going to have hiked up quite a lot. Now, Pandora Celeste is a game that's sort of his love letter to every sort of sci-fi nasties film out there. So you all wake up as crew members and you're trapped on board this spaceship. Everything's going wrong, all the security settings are firing off, and obviously they're not necessarily to your advantage, and you need to survive and maybe get off the ship, or depends what happens. Like, there might be some different missions for different people and things like that.
That's what I've always enjoyed every time we played it. It starts off as a kind of cooperative, I'm going to say dungeon crawl, more of an exploration game as you're working together towards a goal, but that might not be how a certain mission ends. And I love how it plays with those familiar mechanics and has a new twist on them. Yes,
there's some twists and turns along the way, and of course there's various little nasties or big nasties that you might encounter along the way and how you're going to deal with those. So really interesting to see how this game has developed and where it's making itself towards that sort of state to be published, rather than just a sort of an idea going on. And it's got a whole second stage now for to climb through the air venting and things like that, whereas it was last time we played all as one flat board. So really has developed, and I can't wait to see how far and have a look at that print and play version. So I'm really excited for that. We love a space game, so do check it out if you're there.
A game that's often suggested to us is Undaunted Normandy.
Yes.
And we haven't played any of the Undaunted
No.
games, although they are consistently praised. So we really think we should. And it seems the ideal way into this is going to be Undaunted Battle of Britain. Now, we grew up on the south of England, which was obviously very, very involved in the Battle of Britain campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my great-grandmother had an enormous pond in her garden because it was from a bomb created. And my granddad flew in the RAF, so he was in the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town in the south of England, which has actually had a big RAF airfield. So I grew up kind of surrounded by all these kind of knowledge of Spitfires and Hurricanes. So this seems like the ideal theme for us to kind of get involved in this. Now, in the past, we've kind of shied away from war games. It's not really a genre we gravitate towards, but we have played like Memoir 44.
Yeah,
been
and
really
actually we're really
that.
surprised by that one. I think we sort of went into it because it was on our top 100 list of a scratch-off poster that we were trying to work our way through. Still are. And I kind of thought, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy it, but we were really surprised by it, really enjoyed it. So I think that this is going to be good as well.
Yeah. And they're doing a live presentation of how to play it, so I'm going to be at that. And this might be the first one we add to the collection, and who knows, if we love it, maybe we'll start exploring other games in the series.
We'll have a whole Kallax full of just the Undaunted.
This might just be the start of something.
Now, another one on the list is White Castle. This is going to come out by Devir Games, and we have really liked Red Cathedral and the Contractors expansion. And the idea that the designers of that game are going to come in with a Japanesey themed. I mean, we love a Japanese themed game. I don't really know much about it other than it's the same designers as that, and it's called the White Castle, and the cover looks lovely. That's enough. I'm hoping
just
that there's going to be information there.
Bit like Red Cathedral, based in Japan. Yep, we're having that.
Yeah, that's about as much as I know. And I know that Devir have had quite a few new games come out. I mean, Bamboo, Jerusalem, Savanac Forest. So I'm not sure how much information will be there about it. And I know that it's certainly not going to be for sale. But whatever we can sort of find, I am definitely interested in hearing more about that one. Looks amazing.
So this time last year, I was very excited about a game called Space Captains. We now know that Starship Captains, and I absolutely loved it. This time I'm excited about a game called AstroNavigators. Now this, with cute kind of animal starship explorers, is a kind of space race game where you're doing worker placement and also charting stars on a celestial body. And everything about this got me excited. I think often you look at a game, trailers or previews, and you go, "Oh, that seems a bit of me. That seems like it's designed for kind of my taste and my level," because it's kind of midweight complexity.
Yeah, so I think it's 3 out of 5. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's lots of things there that I'm intrigued by individually, but collectively it seems to be kind of hand-picking all the kind of mechanisms that I really enjoy in the game. It looked lovely from what I've seen in the videos. I'm really keen to see it in the flesh and work out exactly what's going on with it and if it really is the game for me that I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's like an astronaut koala, so what's not to like about that? Exactly.
Who wouldn't want a game just for an astronaut koala?
So before I start talking about my next choice, I am just going to quickly slide in a quick honorary mention here whilst you're on the space race. Solar Sphere also looks like a great game that I would like to check out as well. Another spacey themed one, so that's why I think we've chosen that one for this list, but we will go check that out as well. And my choice for this is Redwood. We do love that sort of environmental, the nature themed games, and this one looks really interesting. The board looks gorgeous. It's this round board, all looking at different environmental sort of different types of environments around it, and you're trying to take photographs of nature with different angles, and so the way that you do that looks really interesting. The board looks great. I mean, the box cover looks fantastic. We saw some bits and pieces on it, some people that covered it at Gamma, so we'd really like to see a bit more here, and that and it seems like it's going to do something different to Wild Serengeti, which we have, which is also, you know, you're doing that whole sort of photographing, getting the right angles, getting the right animals in the right position in order to take the best photo. So it'd be interesting to see how that differs from that, and whether they both warrant a space on our shelf.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really attractive game, and often at these kind of expos, a big eye-catching graphic we know draws people in.
Yeah.
So I hope it's not going to be too busy to actually get a game. Now, it comes as a surprise to many people that we really love Disney.
Shocking.
It's not something we talk about a huge amount. And there's a game shown at Gamma called Disney Animated, and again, that looks like a game that's tailor-made for me.
Yeah.
Actually, at university, I studied the history of Disney, so it's a subject matter that immediately grabbed me. But just watching it being played, it's got some mechanisms I've seen in Ark Nova, where you have the track and things increasing when you know, the longer you wait for them to use them, the more powerful they are. You've got the acetates as you're building your own beautiful scenes of classic Disney films, and also it's a cooperative game, which I think is fantastic for families to play together.
Yeah.
It looks like the right depth of complexity for us to, you know, play alongside maybe a bigger game, so not quite a filler game, but a starter game perhaps. And just everything about it seems to drip both Disney love and kind of decent gameplay mechanisms. Not too simple, not too lightweight, but a bit of bite there, not so much that it's alienating. Ideally placed for kind of what we're looking for in a Disney game.
And obviously the artwork's going to look amazing.
It looks fantastic. It really does look nice. And I particularly like the kind of canvas style transparent cards that are in there as well. So yeah, hopefully going to get some hands-on time to actually play that. Won't be able to buy it, but it will then be cemented onto my wish list.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll have it there. I know that the Funko games are going to be there, so fingers crossed we'll have some copies to look at. Yeah. Right, and last up for me is a game that I know a lot of people in the US have been able to play and get copies of already, but it's not out for retail here, and I am super interested, super excited to get a chance to play. We have tried to play it once on BGA, but without looking up the rules. Yeah. So that was slightly problematic. We'll maybe give that another go before we go to the expo. But Earth, hopefully, we're going to be able to have a look at how you play it exactly and how it all works, and everyone is absolutely raving about it. It's definitely on those hot lists at the moment.
People are already calling it the game of the year. Yeah,
and I just think it would be so great to see it there, maybe get to play a copy, maybe even pick up a copy.
We're going to play
expo.
it and then we're going to pick it up.
Well, I think if you look at some of the retailers, for some of our friendly local game stores, they're basically putting the release date at the end of the month, so I don't know whether we will be able to pick it up at the con or not, but hopefully it will be with people in time, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, fingers crossed. I can't wait to get
if it's there, we're playing it.
Yeah,
if it's 100%. For sale, we're probably buying it.
Yeah, I love that idea that you're setting out your sort of tableau and you're trying to make lines or rows, and you're trying to do different things with that tableau, so that it adds a little extra something different to what we have in other games that have the tableau situation. So that's our 10 games that we're really looking forward to checking out. Obviously, we're going to be checking out loads more than that.
There are kind of headline big things we're heading towards, because you know there's so many exhibitors there, and as we've said already, often the best bits are the surprises. You didn't even like Deckchairs and Titanic last year. We just sat down and randomly played it. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, Encyclopedia we really enjoyed last year.
Didn't even know about it until we got there. And there's smaller games that we're keen about. You know, things like Crumbs.
Yes.
From Minerva Games, we're keen to kind of get our hands on that and actually start playing it. So there's going to be lots of little games as well, but what we are going to be doing while we're there is doing, again this year, we're going to be doing some our vlog on the show vlogs, trying to get those up as quickly as possible, a bit more rough and ready, but we're trying to get those up while we're still at the expo, so that's something to look forward to.
So we should have a daily one, and we'll also have coming up other things that aren't these 10 games that we're looking forward to seeing at the show. We should have that coming up very soon, so do give us a notification bell or a subscribe if you want to hear more about the UK Games Expo, and we're going to talk about what other things that we like to do when we're there, and how to best make use of a con.
Yeah. So if this is the first time you've joined us, please do subscribe if you haven't already. But as always, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Let us know what your games are in the comments that you're looking forward to.